Lauren, Anna and Lauren were downstairs, and they were having a heated debate about tricep extensions. They were about to go to blows. I had to break them up. No, I'm just kidding. So in today we have Miss Debbie Ryan, Carol, Helena, Alyssa, who's our newest trainer. Welcome, Alyssa. And my two friends who are downstairs. And Miss Doreen, I met Miss Doreen today, my sister, and my boss. Oh my gosh, she's evaluating me.
No, I'm not. I'm here to support you as always.
Because I'm super in entertaining. I'm like better than HBO and Comedy Central. So we're gonna learn about exercising safely. Because it's one of my most important and dearest things to me is that when you're exercising, you learn the proper way to do it. As my clients can definitely attest, I always get them for engaging their core properly and doing the exercise right, ladies? Always breathing right, and so I'm kind of like a hawk. When I see them doing the wrong thing, I like watch them from across the room for a couple seconds, and I go over there like, oh God, here she comes, pull your stomach. So it's very, very important always to make sure that you're doing exercise safely. So one of the quotes that I got out of my handy dandy study book is proper practice and experience that leads you to permanent changes in your body's ability to perform movement effectively or efficiently. One of my clients has this thing that I guess a colloquialism for it is called sloop foot, where your feet kind of turn outwards. And so we're working on correcting that. Another issue could be arching your back, overarching your back when you're doing a shoulder press, or bending your knees over your toes when you're doing a squat. So it's very important that you have a personal trainer like myself, or somebody who's been doing it for a little bit to kind of show you the right way. Guys sometimes can get away with doing it the wrong way because they still look pretty good, right? But you can't really tell that they're injured. For us as ladies, because we carry the burden of life, we can tell because our backs will hurt a little bit more, our knees will hurt, have bad ankles, or we have broken ankles, or we'll have a bad back or neck or shoulder issues. So we're going to just go through a couple things. So everybody stand up. So we're going to start with finding out what your kinetic chain looks like. And just stand out regular like you're waiting for the bus, or you're getting ready to go into a restaurant, you're outside with a stupid buzzer, and they haven't called you in like 30 minutes, and 50 people are gone in front of you, and you're pissed off. But that's okay. Just standing there hanging out waiting, right? Very nice. A lot of good posture work in this piece, I like it. So what we're going to do, you're going to stand with your feet about shoulder width apart. Try to find balance, equally positioned. Go feet just a smidge. Good. Alright, now we're going to start from your head to your toes. You're just going to roll your head down like you're peeling yourself off a wall. Roll your head, and then you're going to roll your shoulders. So now you start to slouch, rolling and bending over. Keep bending over, leaning over, falling forward, leaning over to touch your toes. Slowly, falling forward over your toes. Nice. Take a big deep breath here. And as you exhale, start more slowly than before. Pull your navel into your back. Start to come up. One vertebrae at a time. Really, really slowly. So slowly that it feels like you're being pulled at your hands. Slow down. Keep going. Shoulders are going to come last. So keep rolling. Relax your shoulders. Keep going until your back is straight. Head is still down on the ground. Looking forward to the floor. Look at your toes. Roll those shoulders back. Head is still down. Rolling the shoulders back, and now the head comes up. Nice. Alright, so this is how your body should look when you're just standing hanging out. Having one foot having more weight than the other, or slouching, or kind of cocking your body to the side creates muscle imbalances. And the more you do that, the more you'll start to feel the pain or feel discomfort. And because lots of people don't stretch, it makes it even more so apparent. So, the 4 or 5 pieces of a kinetic chain that we need to look at. First are your feet. Sometimes people go like this. Sometimes with the extra pigeon toes. Some people stand like this. So it's very important that your feet are in line. They're not rolled over. They're not turned out. right? Everybody pretty much did that, I would say, as we were correcting our posture, right? Next thing is your knees. Knees should not be falling into you, falling out, or super hyperextended. When you lock your knees, you start to lose all the blood flow to your feet. So that's very important. Next thing is your hips. Sometimes people who slouch, they can suck their pelvis in and have like this hunchy thing going on. It takes away about 2 inches, but it doesn't really feel super good, especially when you start to sit up straight. So instead of tucking your pelvis in and kind of slouching, leaning into your lower back, you're gonna make sure that your pelvis is just in neutral spine position. Next thing are your shoulders. It's super easy to either do this or have really, really tense shoulders, like somebody's gonna scare you at any second. So that's why we did the roll up, because we can feel what a neutral spine will look like. Also, shoulder rolls are really good for that. We start to feel stressed in your shoulders, in your neck, and you're like, oh my God, these kids are gonna kill me. Can't they go to college? So it's very comfortable about that. Oh gosh, there's so funny. They had teenagers that are the same age, and they go to the same school, and they're plotting with each other. They didn't even know it. So it's going to be a great weekend for their children. I love it. All right, last thing is going to be your head. Making sure that it doesn't hang back or doesn't go to the front. Goofy, you guys know Goofy from Disney, right? Goofy, oh, you know? Right. So Goofy hangs out like this. That's a buck teeth, right? Very important that that neck comes back. And so everything is going to be in line from your toes to your head. That's how you start your workout, right? So I'm going to do something, and I want you to tell me if it's right or wrong.
Wrong.
What's wrong about it?
Posture.
Okay.
Shoulders.
What else?
Bring that tummy in.
Oh, thank you.
Bend your knees.
Your elbows.
What about my elbows?
They're not lined up. They're not in the right position.
Are they not?
What was different?
Okay. I'm pulling my elbows in. Very nice. So.
Your feet.
Thank you. They did feel a little bit weird. So, as I was doing that, I didn't want to do something that's going to be super spectacularly hurting for me, because I did that a couple days ago and I had to pick up my neck, showing somebody the proper way. So, as you're learning things about your body, it's called motor learning. And sometimes this or this can feel supernatural because you've been doing it for so long. But as you pull your back up, and as you're learning proper posture and holding your body properly, it's called motor development, so that it develops muscle memory. So when you're doing the exercise properly, somebody's telling you, oh, that's not the right way. Or when my foot was turned like this, I felt it was like, oh my gosh, it's really weird. Right? So your body will tell you, dude, that's not the right thing. Or, oh my gosh, my back is hurting, so I need to sit up straight, or I need to pull my tummy in. Or how many people stand up for a long time at work? How does your back feel at the end of the day? Shoulders. So you hold tension in your shoulders. Sweet. So when we're at work, sometimes, for me, when I was in the Navy, I had to stand up for a long time. I don't like standing. And my back didn't like standing. So I learned that if I pull in my tummy and I start doing some pelvic thrusts, that my lower back will get a little bit stronger, and I was able to stand up a little bit longer. Because I can hyperextend my back, and now all that pressure in my lower back. So, as you're learning and your body is learning, your muscles are learning, and those imbalances that you used to have are no longer. I'm going to let somebody show me their bicep curl. Who is a brave person? Show me bicep curl. Oh, sure. There you go, Ann. Thank you. Ann might have won the argument. Yes. Okay, does anybody see anything that could be a little bit challenging for Ann?
Your elbows in closer.
Well, her elbows look really good that way, but she's hyperextending her joints. And if she does not hyperextend, turn your hands, palms facing your thighs. If she doesn't hyperextend her elbows, then she won't develop arthritis or tendonitis. So I'm going to ask you, go ahead and start your bicep curl again. You're going to supinate your hands. So you're going to turn and come back. And back down. And when you come down, see, you feel that hyperextension right there? All right. Bend just like that.
Kind of double jointed.
Yeah, I see that. I have clients like that, and so I had to tell her, don't lock your knees. All right, so roll up and roll back down. Keeping that tension right here in your bicep. Keep going. Roll up and back down. Great. Keep going. Both hands down. Turn them back. Watch that locking. A little bit of bend in your elbows. Come down right there and back up. Sweet. So the same thing that happens with your elbows happens with your knees. When you come out of your squat and you go, and then you have to unlock your knees to go back down to a squat. All that grinding and moving and rubbing. Thank you so much, Ann.
Just don't go.
Yes. All that grinding and moving in those joints can give you tendonitis. It can take your patella off of its natural little groove. And then you're walking around like, oh my gosh, I have arthritis. Or you got these giant knuckle-sized knees, right? So it's very important that you're watching what you do. Next thing, can I get somebody to show me squats? Don't be scared. It's like 6 people in here. Nobody's judging.
I'll do it.
All right, my sister's gonna do a squat. Yeah, she is not clear by the doctor to do exercise yet. She's like 3 weeks after having a baby.
This is how many weeks?
3.
You look great.
Thank you.
Okay.
All right, so do you want to like say stop? Just let her stop. That hurt. Wait. And she's got these bally, what is it, Bosu type shoes on. Does anybody know what she could be doing wrong? Yeah, what else?
Her knees going on my knees.
Her knees are definitely going on her toes. Her back is hyperextending right here.
So how do you do it then?
All right, so I'm going to show my sister how to do it properly. This is what I do for everybody. So I get really, really close. It's okay, we're all girls, right? I'm a dude, so I'm like, yeah, touchy, right? And plus I'll hear about it later if I make it go back. So as you do your squat, you want to lead with your hip bones. So stick your butt out like you're going to the bathroom and start going down. You go down, keep sticking your butt out. Oh, you're going to kill yourself. Keep going. Right there. Nice. Come on up. Good. Watch those knees locking. So I like to say when you're doing a squat that you're pretending like you're going to a public restroom, right? Nobody likes to sit on the seat without a cushion, right? You always have to put that plastic paper over. So if you don't do that, or a porta potty never really has them, you gotta kind of hover over the toilet seat, right? Because you don't want to pee on your clothes, you gotta go back to work. And then you sit up. And when you do that, like you're hovering over the toilet, your knees are behind your toes. Everybody, do the squat. And you can add extra work by squeezing your glutes when you're coming up. Go down and find the toilet seat and come back up. And it's going to take my sister a little bit to get her back in order because that baby was pulling her spine, so she's got an extra curve there. So we're going to have to work on that. So go ahead and do squats, a couple more squats. Finding the toilet seat. Keep finding it, get it back a little further. Good, and come up. Watch that head. Keep that head on your spine. Get a little bit further back. Right there, stop, and come up. Nice. Does that make sense for everybody? Swell. Thank you so much. High five. All right.
Thank you.
That was excellent. So those are one of the main things that that people can have challenges with. The bicep curls. This is what people do. I've seen some members do this. And it kind of bothers me a little bit because we're ladies, and this is what ladies say. I don't want to do strength training because I don't want my muscles to get big. Who said that when they first did this? Anybody ever said that? I don't want to get big muscles. Right?
Yeah, I've heard people say it a lot.
So the only way you're going to get big muscles is if you have low testosterone. Okay, check one, we don't have that. If you are doing a lot of loads, so it's like, this is 5 pounds, it's not going to hurt anybody, right? If you're doing 50 pounds, okay, right? So we're only doing 5 pounds, we don't have lots of testosterone. The last thing is if you have a little bit of repetitions and a little bit of sex, right? So guys, they want big muscles because they want to be sexy or whatever. For us, we don't. We want long, lean muscles. So this is where I see people do this. Really short muscles, right? So this is like, to me, it's like pumping and a tire, right? Because when you step on the thing, the old school way, step on the thing and it's blowing up the tire, really short choppy puffs, right? You don't sit there and go because by the time you get finished with the third one, it's going to be deflated again. So you got to do really pump, choppy steps, right? So as you're doing those little short steps, getting all that air into the tire, you're getting air in it, so it's making it big. So that's how my head works. So instead of doing this and making your this muscle shorter, right? Because it doesn't have anywhere to go. You're not flexing, you're not stretching it at all. Go all the way down, nice long muscle, keeping it contracted, and go up. So we're stretching our muscle as we're building muscle, creating muscle endurance, and beautiful long lean lines, which is what we like. Having repetitions 12 to 20 is what is going to build your muscles, get muscle endurance, nice sexy muscles, and break the fat down, burn fat. That's what we need, right? Okay. Last thing with these, and I'm going to put them down, shoulder press. Who does shoulder press? Anybody? Oh, and you already participated. Debbie, you can shoulder press?
You're talking about the bar, the machine.
A bar, yeah.
She wants you to show.
Over your head?
Yeah.
These guys over your head?
Yeah, the machine downstairs, yeah.
Oh, come on over. Let me see what you do. So these are only 5 pounds, but be careful. I'm not going to tell you anything until it's time. So go ahead and start. Oh, you look so good. Not so bad. Very good.
Okay.
That was great. You can go back over. That was really good. Let's give Debbie applause. All right. So the one thing that is really super prevalent that I see that really freaks me out and it makes me nervous because backs are very important for your mobility is that people do this. Right, and they arch their back so much that now you got these vertebrae that are like, oh my God, seriously? And just like if you were doing upward dog in yoga, anybody? Upward dog? Ever done it? That's okay. If you're doing anything that puts too much tension on your back, it's going to be back problems. Herniated discs, muscles broken, all kinds of things. Mayhem, I tell you. So, just like we were talking about doing that exercise before, very important to have a neutral spine. And the way that works is developing a stronger core. So, pulling that navel in, and you can do it unlocked knees or locked knees, whichever you like. I like bent knees, so I'm going to go down there. And Debbie was fantastic. She started at 90-degree angles with her arms, and she didn't go all the way down. Starting here, up and down, just at 90 degrees, right? So my back isn't arched like this, because that hurts a lot. My pelvis is under, supporting my spine, and I'm just going up and down. Strong tummy, right? So this is my stomach out. Oh yeah. So what they're doing really. This is my stomach out. Keep my stomach out. I'm doing my push-ups. Or pelvis tilts that way. Yeah. My back is not supported at all because my stomach is so big. Oh, here it is. Here. Right? My stomach is in, my back is in neutral spine, and I'm going up and over. Right? Okay. Let's see what's next. Does anybody have any questions about any of the exercises? I think the tricep extensions, right? No? Okay.
As far as sets go, do you recommend 2 sets of 12 or 2 sets of 20 or 1 set better than 2? How do you?
It depends on where your fitness level is. By increasing repetitions and increasing the weight and increasing the number of sets you do, all those things will add to your muscle endurance. It will add to your workout. So if you have never worked out before and you like, oh my goodness, I don't know what free weights are, I don't know what a band is, what machine does what, right? You should probably start with 1 set at a time. And depending, like I said, if you want to develop some muscle endurance, so 12 repetitions are a great way to start. As you start getting stronger and as you become more comfortable with the exercise that you're doing, you can increase the amount of repetitions that you do first, and then increase the amount of sets that you do second, and then increase the amount of weight that you're using. Weight always comes last because you just don't want to challenge your body too much, or you don't want to overwork it or overload it. So that was a great question.
The optimum max, say 10 pounds is the maximum weight that I want.
Okay.
Would it be 2 sets of, what's the optimum?
You can start at 12 and you can go up to 20. But you can also add stuff like a BOSU, a balance ball. So, let me see. If you're doing tricep extensions, right? And after you got finished doing this for a long time, you're like, oh my gosh, it's so lame. I want to do something else, right? You can add one foot. So drop a foot, do more tricep extensions. You're like, oh yeah, I'm super awesome. I can do this with my eyes closed, which is also another set. Because this right here, starts to rebalance. So you have to work on that core and you're still doing tricep extensions. And you're like, oh, that's not good enough. I want to do this. So now you're doing more. Right? And so you continue to progress through everything that you got available to you until you're just like, oh my goodness, I'm done. This is super light. I don't want to do anymore. I'm going to increase my weight to 7.5. That makes sense? And depending on how much time you have at the gym, say if you only have 30 minutes for your workout, the whole workout, then you do one set, but maybe increase your repetitions just for that workout. So if you're doing 12 normally, you got 2 sets of 12, do 15. But keep moving quick, so you can get the best out of that workout. Any other questions? Did I answer your question? Sweet. Any other questions about that? So, who stretches after their workout? Be honest. I'm not judging you. Maybe. You never know.
Only if there's time.
Only if there's time. Everybody like that? Carol, what did I tell you about stretching? How much time?
I don't know, like, what, 5 minutes?
Yes. Start at 5 to 10 minutes. Helena, why should you be stretching?
To muscles to that.
Yes. What else? Okay, I'll take that. We should have said, then now we one of these. Okay, so stretching is a part of the workout. It's not optional. Because when you're working out, you put a lot of heat in your body, you increase your blood flow a lot, your temperature goes up a lot, your heart rate is up really, really high, and you also work the heck out of your muscles. They're like, oh my goodness, I need an ice bath, or somebody please take me down. Take me down. Right? So it's very important that you spend the time stretching so that your muscles can get back into a regular setting, so that your temperature can come down, so you can create that balance that you're looking for. For example, if you did your legs, you blew out your legs today, you know, walk into the room like this. You come upstairs like you can barely walk up the stairs. Then you go sit in your car. Your muscles are doing this. And they're tensing up and you can't move, you get out of the car. Have you ever done this when you get out of bed in the morning? Oh, wait, just need 3 more seconds. 86. Okay, no, I can't go to work today, I can't move. Right? Have you ever done that? Maybe once or twice. No. And it's like, dude, I've been doing this for 50 years. I was doing this as a kid. I know what I'm doing. I'm good, right?
I'm not 50 yet.
I said, I was doing this as a kid. You're doing this in your mom's room. You're doing leg press in your mom's room. Like, let me out. No? Okay. So if you are not cooling down your body properly, your muscles are going to tighten up and they're going to get much more constricted than they were previously. So it's going to make it that much more difficult to work out the next day. So it's not an optional thing. It's very, very necessary to improve your workout, to make sure that you're minimizing your injuries. And I was talking to Helena downstairs about bar beat. The first time I took bar beat, it was so much fun, but it was very painful for 5 days after because I couldn't walk.
What's bar beat?
Bar beat is the ballet class downstairs. Just at 6 o'clock they were doing it. This is how I was walking for 4 days. I was trying to move my heels at all. I was like, oh my gosh, my calves. And so I was stretching, constantly stretching those days. And I'm like, I'm going to tell all my clients what I did to myself. I don't want to hide anything, but it was very, very challenging. So you got to make sure that the way that your muscles move, if I'm able to go all the way down, I'm able to do that the next day.
So if you did 5 to 10 minutes of stretching after bar beat, you wouldn't have had that problem.
No, because bar beat was crazy. I don't know what they do. I don't know where they send them in the class and say, listen, this is what I want you to do. Don't stop pushing their calves. Make them do calf raises for 50 minutes. That's what they do the whole time. They're doing calf raises. They're like, I have arms and legs. Please do the rest of it. So it would have been much less. It would have been a lot less challenging for me if I had continued to stretch out like this. Okay. What else about flexibility do you have questions about? Please ask. Anybody ever said yoga?
Bikram.
Oh, Bikram yoga.
In La Jolla.
Yeah, like 105-degree weather.
Oh my God.
Yes.
90 minutes in a room that's 105 degrees.
Bet everybody smell like roses, huh?
Oh. I did it twice. I said, that's it. I'm not doing this.
All right, so yoga is pretty much like meditation and stretching all together, right? How limber do you feel after yoga? You feel like you could like dance on top of the world, right? Right? Yeah. And it's a tough crowd.
No, I'm listening.
All right. So after yoga, you feel like you can do leaps and bounds over your car and like run home, maybe highways. I wouldn't do it. So that is like a stretching. It's like an hour stretching. And so it's pretty much the same concept. You want to make sure that your muscles stay really limber so you can do the activity that you would do on a normal basis and then the cool superhuman stuff that you do at the gym. So flexibility is not optional. It is very, very necessary. Anybody have any questions about flexibility?
Well, I have a question about stretching.
Yes.
I heard you're not supposed to balance. Is that right?
Depending. There's a bunch of different types of stretching. There's static stretching, active stretching, and dynamic stretching. Depending on what stretching you're doing at the time, for static stretching, you don't move anywhere, don't bounce. If you're doing active stretching, which you're doing slight movements, you can, move the muscles, make them do what they need to do. Dynamic stretching is like a baby workout. For example, if you're going to do arms, and you're like, oh, I'm going to do arms today. I'm not going to worry about my legs. Dynamic stretching would be like a prison squat or calf raises because you're moving your body, but you're not necessarily using those guys. So dynamic stretching is like a little baby workout. Active stretching is moving those muscles that you're going to be using. Static stretching is just staying hanging out. So I think that yoga is kind of a mix between active and static because you're moving, but not a whole lot. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it seems like you're holding a position.
Yeah.
That's the work for me, is to try and balance my body when I'm doing it. But I don't feel good like you're talking about, like running after.
Okay, maybe this is what you do when you come out of the yoga
I want to take a
studio.
nap.
Yeah,
Right?
then
You're like,
end it with, quiet.
you're flitting and stuff?
I just feel like I'm sleeping.
Yes.
But no, I just mean like, when I see people do that. Yeah. I heard you're not supposed to do that.
Okay, so that could stretch and tear your muscles, little baby tears, and no, that's not good. If you warmed up and you're doing something like this, or something I like to do if you're not going to use your legs or you're going to be using them, active stretching after you're warming up or as you're warming them up, but nothing like this on pulled muscles, because you're like this.
Right.
So, no more.
Because I think you're supposed to only stretch when your muscles are warm.
Yes. And you can warm them up by doing active and dynamic stretching, but static stretching, no warm up. No. It's okay? All right. Any questions about stretching? 30 seconds.
We don't have a
30
stretching
seconds.
machine downstairs. Do you want those?
We don't have a stretching machine downstairs, but there is one at the beginning of our machines. And since Doreen, you just had your fitness evaluation today, your equipment orientation will involve your stretching machine. And it's got cute little pictures and directions, so you will definitely be in good hands. Any more questions about flexibility, stretching? Okay, my favorite thing to talk about is core abdominal work. Somebody, anybody, no, everybody scream? No, I'm just kidding. Somebody please come show me what a crunch will look like.
With the big guts?
I can tell. Come on over. I'm gonna show you. I know it's not gonna be so bad. Watch. No judgment here. Just do it.
Just come up the way, or
Whatever you like.
slightly.
Yeah, whatever you like. That's sexy with a good smile. Ooh, blink your eye. I'm just kidding. Sweet. All right, go ahead and rest for a little bit. Somebody tell me one or two things that was not completely super awesome about crunch.